welcome to another Coffee Talk session. Today, I'll be talking about how to effectively use S2K accounts receivable to manage your credit and collections. So with that, let's dive in. I've navigated directly to the customer master file here, and we'll drill in specifically to the credit button that you'll see in the middle of the screen. Now, from the credit button, you have a whole bunch of options for setting up credit for the customer. Specifically here to start off, we'll look at the credit manager highlighted. So you can group your customers together under a credit manager or managers. So that credit manager would have responsibility to manage credit for all of his or her assigned accounts. Now, you'll also see you can choose whether or not you want to credit check a customer. So you can turn that off. Maybe for your very best customers, you don't need to credit check them. For those customers that you choose to credit check, you can then indicate here what their credit limit is. So we have Acme Inc. here set up for $750,000. And then I want to look at the next field down, the override past due hold days. So when you set up S2K, and specifically the accounts receivable module, you'll indicate after how many days you want to put a given customer's orders on hold. So that means if they have a balance past X number of days, that'll automatically go on hold. So there's a global setting in the accounts receivable interface, but what you have an opportunity to do here in the credit information tab in the customer master is override that. So maybe you want to more tightly track this customer or more loosely track this customer. So you can override the system value here to calculate when the customer orders go on hold. So to get the credit system set up, it's pretty straightforward. You'll go into the customer master here, hit the credit button, and fill in the required fields. So from there, I want to jump over to our AR Manager function. So AR Manager is available in the Accounts Receivable Inquiry menu. Now, for some of you who may be on older releases, you may not have this function. And for some of you on more current releases, you may not even have this turned on. But it's a great feature and a really great way to manage your credit and collections. So first screen here I wanted to point out is if I'm a salesperson, I can see all my assigned accounts and what their credit situation is. So as a salesperson, I can see who all the customers are. I can see I've got some customers with some high balances here. So I want to start with that just to introduce that concept that the salespeople can also be looking to see how their customers are paying. From there, though, if I move on to the next screen, what you'll see is if I'm back to that credit manager of ED, right? I'm a credit manager in this case, and I can sort, as an example, based on the amount due. So I can start to work with my customers here who have a high balance. So if we look at the fine line office supplies, the first customer listed, we're going to see they have a pretty significant balance over 120 days, right? So what you can do from here is drill in. So I can highlight a line, go to the customer inquiry, and I'll see customer information here. Now, I'll see directly on this screen in the upper right-hand side that this customer is clearly over their credit line. They have a negative available credit highlighted in red. So there's some great visuals here right on the screen. We can also see graphically the customer inquiry and what their AR aging looks like. So although the graphic here is showing mostly green, we want to drill down and look at those older invoices and figure out exactly what's going on with them. Now, as a quick aside, but I think really relevant to what we're talking about here as we try and manage the credit and collections with this customer, there's a lot of good information on this screen, but also I want to show you how we can drill down into analytics. So I can see here this customer's average days to pay is 231. Not a great customer from a payment perspective. But again, what I want to do here is just drill down and show you this integration with S2K Analytics. So we have a customer scorecard here. So I'll have visibility here to see some customer statistics. So year-to-date cash sales, things like this. So I can have visuals to see, what's been going on with this customer over time, what's been going on with them year-to-date, what's their gross profit look like with us over time. So again, my point here is only that there's the ability to drill down, get even more information about a customer activity directly from our analytics tool, right? So let's go back to the customer inquiry. I can click on the Open AR button. It's going to show me details of all the open invoices. So what we'll do from here is highlight one of the lines and drill in to get the details. So I can see here, this first invoice, 8805, is over 1,000 days old. So let's drill in, okay? So as I drill into that, I'll see all the line items that are on the order, and you'll also notice that the internal notes button is highlighted in yellow. So what that means is there are some notes. So we can click on that and drill in to see, what's going on. So I can see that the customer called with a question, right? So anyone who enters a note here, that'll be tracked, user ID, date, and timestamp. So I'll know if the customer's calling in, if someone's, users are diligent enough to enter in these notes and comments. This is a great way of tracking what's going on with payments or things going on with the order. So I can drill in and see some order notes, but one of the other key features of the accounts receivable application, or in S2K overall, is really this ability. So I can drill down and I can see the invoice was printed back on 12/28, and then it was reprinted again. So perhaps the customer called and said, oh, I never got the invoice. Well, obviously in S2K, there's features where you can reprint the invoice, print meaning really print or email these days. So the invoice was sent to the customer twice. So they try and say, well, we never got it. You have some information here to say, well, we sent it to you twice now. So there's some really good tracking tools here so you can really closely manage any customer collection issues, and you'll see all the times that the invoice was printed or reprinted directly from here. Okay, and if the customer said, well, I need another copy, right? You can highlight a few different invoices if you want, and you can email them. You can obviously highlight one, but you highlight the lines here by hitting the select button. That will select the lines that you want to go ahead and email out to the customer. You click the email button. The customer default would appear here. You can override that. Okay. One of the other important features, I think, is the editing of the message. So when a customer opens their email, there's going to be a message like this. Okay? So, hey, your invoices are more than 120 days old, Mr. Customer, really need to get this paid. So, and you can manually key these in, obviously, so you'll have options to be as strong with your language as you would like. But the customer will certainly get a message here saying, these invoices are past due with copies of them and that you're looking for payment quickly. So there's all those capabilities built into the AR module, so it's a really nice way of managing your credit and the collections piece, so you can send out copies of invoices and such to the customer. Now, another option here I just wanted to point out from the OpenAR inquiry, there's the ability to export this content to Excel. So for some of you on older releases of S2K, you probably don't have that feature. But the more current releases will have this option. You can click the Excel icon at the top, and your OpenAR details would be downloaded into Excel. So that's another nice feature just in case you need it, and something to send to the customer if need be, so they can get a visual. One of the other things I'll point out here is, of course, you can produce a statement directly from here. So you can produce a statement to the customer and send it to them with all the details as well. So there's, again, just some great tools that are available right from this OpenAR inquiry. So we started out in the AR Manager by looking at the Customer tab. Now I'm going to go here to the Held Orders tab. So again, I'm still signed in as a credit manager, so I can see all of my assigned accounts and all the orders that they have on hold, including the hold reason code. Now, hold reason codes in S2K are completely user-defined, so you'll create these. I want to drill in and just show you a couple things. So you can have these hold reason codes that are specific to credit and other ones that are specific just to order entry. So customer orders can be put on hold for non-credit reasons. I won't drill down to that too much today, but from here we're going to drill down now and go behind the scenes here and edit this file, because there's some things you need to see, specifically the deallocate inventory option. So from here, if you have set up a hold reason code that customer is on credit hold, when an order is placed, the inventory can be deallocated associated with that customer order. So it's a great way of helping collect money. You can say to the customer, hey, I know you want this product, but because you're over your credit line in this case, we're not able to allocate the inventory for you until we get some payment. So again, just some tools here to really help you with the credit collection side of the house. So drilling in, I can also enter in a note directly from here. So I entered in a couple of notes. We asked for payment, and the customer said, of course, the check's in the mail. So again, all these notes, user ID, date, and timestamp, so that's great. And again, it's a great way of tracking over time what's been going on with an order in the credit and collection side. One of the other really powerful features, though, of S2K is this ability to create a to-do. So I'm a credit manager here, and I'm going to look tomorrow to see if we got the check, as an example. So I'll put in a call date and time. The to-do reason codes, again, are manually created. They're user-defined. I created one here called $, right? Just a reminder to go get some money. So I put a little description in at the bottom. It says, hey, I want to follow up and make sure we got the money that the customer said they sent in for order number 9593 in this case. So you enter all of that in here, right? So this customer had an order. It was over their credit line. We made a note, and then we created a to-do to create a follow-up here. So that will be available for me. So when I log in the next time, whenever that to-do is required to be done, it'll pop right up for me. I'll see it on the third tab in the list here. So that's my to-do list. So this is a credit and collections to-do list. So this is different than any of the sales to-do lists. This is specific to credit and collections and what I, as a credit manager, need to do. So it'll pop up here for me. I'll select it. I'll drill in, okay? And I'm going to go check AR. I'm going to see if we got the check. I'm going to maybe change the date. Maybe we didn't get the check. Say, hey, I need to follow up on Monday to see if it was received. So I can do all of those things here. And when we're ready, we can process a resolution code here. So I'm going to say, hey, the customer said check number 8675309 will be here next week. So I would then go ahead, of course, create another to-do to follow up next week to make sure that the money was received. So there's no need to manually keep track of notes on paper or print out the OpenAR list and write notes on that. All of your credit collection follow-ups and management can be done directly in the application here. So I really like this feature. So I can complete this to-do, and I can create a new one, right? And I can do that all from the screen here. So some really great options here for doing your follow-ups. As I enter those things, in the customer notes here, I'm going to see all of that. So here's my to-do resolution that I did. Check number will arrive next week, and that you'll see here. Now I'm colorblind, but I perceive that's in green. So I'll see all of those notes in my AR side. And there are security options as to whether or not a particular user is going to see those credit and collection notes. So if you don't care to have your salespeople see that, they won't. Obviously, credit and collections would want to see that. So that's just a user interface option as far as what notes are visible. Okay. Last thing I want to share with you here is with the latest releases of S2K, there's the ability to process credit cards. So you can store a customer's credit card on their account. So if the customer calls in and says, hey, just take my OpenAR and charge it to my card, right from the cash receipts entry. If you had the customer credit card number saved, you can do that. If this were a one-time use of a credit card, you can type the information in here, right? And we can go out. You can use our integrated credit card processing, or you can go through and get a voice authorization using an offline function. But the idea is you'll be able to charge the customer's credit card directly from here for their OpenAR. Again, just another way of making sure that you're getting paid in a timely fashion. Now, the other thing I'll just mention in wrapping up here is from our S2K Enterprise portal, there are a number of customer self-service functions, including the customer's ability to pay their open receivables with a credit card. So the customer on the e-commerce side could go ahead and select the invoices that they want to pay. If they had stored their credit card, great. Okay, they can use the card that's on file. Or if they're using the latest releases of S2K, specifically 6.1, with S2K 6.1, the customer can also enter in a new credit card that they want to use for specifically payment of that OpenAR. So with that, I thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this coffee talk.